After having my customers lose their discs, I got into the habit of taping them on the inside of the case. There's also a schematic of the motherboard, which is not the board I pulled. This one is almost 4 years older. If you recall, I said I did not know how many computers had been in this case. Well, there were at least 2. It had Windows 10 Home Edition 32-bit, and I'll be installing Windows 10 Pro 64-bit. I'm going to clean this one up with some Goo Gun, alcohol, and glass cleaner. The main board is an MSI product. Intel doesn't make desktop boards any longer, just chipsets. The processor is an Intel i9. I've always been a fan of Intel CPUs. I've tried using AMD and always seem to have a poor experience by comparison. I'm chasing the technology here just a bit, as this processor was released almost a year ago. I have always found that the best value is found in this way. The processor is installed by lifting the retention arm and bringing this frame upwards. The processor itself is designed to be idiot-proof with tabs to line it up. You should still be careful. There's a plastic socket protector that needs to be removed. When you lock the retention arm, there will be some resistance. This is normal. I'm not going to be gaming with this, so I have no plan to overclock it. Overclocking these can be done in the BIOS like in the olden days or with Intel's Extreme Tuning utility. But anyway, a standard Intel cooling fan will suffice. Installation is by pushing the retainers through the holes provided in the main board and turning them 45 degrees. The processor and the board each support 120 gigabytes of memory, so that's what I'm putting in. Believe it or not, the memory was half the cost of the upgrade. I always told my customers that memory is a workbench. More memory, bigger bench. These are also keyed and can only be installed in one direction. Just push them in and the retention clips lock them into place. I always do my main board assembly outside the case. It's just a ton easier. The main board sits on standoffs that keep it elevated and it's just screwed in. I'm not going to bore you with me doing that. But it was kind of tough to record anyway because my hands were always in the way. Now it's just a matter of connecting the correct plugs in the correct place. The literature will tell you where, and it's tough to plug something into the wrong place since all the plugs are very specific. The hard drive, though, that's something new to me. I've used solid-state drives before. They were always SATA interface, but this interface is something new. I actually just took a wild guess at where it went and wound up I was right. I'm only installing Windows and software on this, and I'll have a storage drive that I'll add later. That's why I just bought 500 gigabytes. The video adapter is an Asus, and again, I've always had better experience with NVIDIA as opposed to Radeon cards. This one is a PCI Express interface with 4 HDMI ports should I want to add additional monitors at some point. The old main board used an AGP graphics card, so I had to move it down one slot. I have one open port to plug. Then I'll clean the outside of the panel. One last piece of housekeeping. She posted fine, and I typically allow the computer to run for a couple of days before I install Windows and software. It's just a time thing. This is Time Rider, and I'll leave the light on for you.